we have, as in English, the same writing system, of course, and the same alphabet. So I'll just say it out loud for you now, from A to Z. So A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, Z. Okay, so that is the alphabet, how the letters are called. Of course, you also need to know how they behave within the words and how they are pronounced together with other letters. So I will go into more details for some of the letters. Okay, let's start with the letter C. The C is quite a rare letter in German. You will not really see it on its own, that is, not in combination with, for example, an H or an SCH, which is really common. But the C and then a vowel, it happens very rarely.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's like the C, I've never seen a German word starting with a C.
No, not in originally German words, no. But in names you will see it. For example, we have the name Caroline, like Caroline, and we would most time spell it with a C. Not always, but most time. So the pronunciation in a word, in a name like Caroline, is like K, like the K. Okay. Then we do have the letter C in words that are coming from another language. So, for example, let's take the Italian word cello, the instrument. And we also pronounce it cello because we take the foreign pronunciation into the German language. And yeah, so that's the only case where you might see a C, either in the name or in foreign words. Okay, the next one that needs mentioning is the G. Our G doesn't behave like the English G. You might have noticed that the G sound in English changes according to the vowel that follows. In German, we always have G, like a guttural G. So no matter if an A, E, I, O or U follows, it is Ga, Ge, Gi, Go, Gu. And there are no exceptions. Then the letter H. The German H is aspirated at the beginning of a word, like in Hallo. You actually have the breathing out, which you don't have in many other languages. But the H is not always pronounced because sometimes it simply serves to prolongate a vowel in a word. So you will very, very often see an H at the end of a word or in the middle of a word after a vowel. For example, let's take the verb to see, which in German is sehen. Sehen. You can see here the H right in the middle, but you don't say sehen because its only purpose is to prolong the first E. So, 2 syllables, first syllable se, second syllable n. So, whether an H is pronounced in an aspirated way or not is a question of its position in the word. So, if a syllable is starting with an H, you have to aspirate. If it is ending a syllable, you have to simply prolongate the vowel. And that is, as I said, very, very common. There are many words ending with an H. Okay, then we have the letter J, which is called J. Okay, as you can already say from its name in German, it is not pronounced like the English J. There is no J sound. It is more like an I in English. Y. So, for example, my own name, which is Sonja, with a J, it's not Sonja, like I do sometimes get called by British people. It is simply Sonja. Okay. There are also not really any exceptions unless we use some English words or even English names, then yes. For example, there are people in Germany called Jessica with the English pronunciation. So that's when we would adapt to a foreign pronunciation and vary our own true pronunciation. Okay. Then we have a very, very important letter. It is the R, the R. When I was listing the alphabet, you heard me calling it R, which is a sound where you actually can't really hear an R like you are used to it. So, the R is not really pronounced in most cases, but when it is like the French R. So, it is a R. It's in your throat, a guttural R. It might be a bit hard to do for one who's not a native in German or French. It is actually a bit like when you are gurgling with something. So you have water in your throat and after brushing your teeth or whatever and you're gurgling, then you might make that sound. So, let me give you an example. Let's take the color red, which is rot. Now, the word is starting with the R, so of course you have to pronounce it. Rot. Also, after another consonant, let's take the word bread, which is Brot. BR. In this combination, you have to pronounce the R, so Brot. Okay.
So it's not like for the color red is red, so it's not red.
No, you have to use the German R, the guttural R in the back of your throat.
So it's like you have to apply pressure here on the throat to really...
Yes, it might be something you just have to practice and then one day it will come out. It's like practicing the Italian or Spanish R. It just takes practice when it's not part of your own language.
Could you say that again? The red?
Rot. So, rrr.
Ah. But you're exaggerating now.
Yes, of course I'm exaggerating, yes. But
normally you say
rot.
What?
Yeah, very briefly. It's exactly like in French. So maybe that might help someone out there. Okay, but as I said, the R is not always pronounced. Let's get back to syllables. So, as with the H, it matters where in a word the R is. So, when a syllable or a word is starting with an R, you have to pronounce it, apparently, otherwise there would be just a void. But if a word is ending with an R, something a bit weird happens. I give you the example Meer, which means sea, the sea you swim in, which you can see ends with an R, but you don't pronounce it. You don't say mer, you say mer, which actually really sounds like you have added an A, mer. So let's build the plural of this, which is mere. And the R has to be pronounced again because it is the start of a syllable, of the second syllable. So mer, singular, mere, plural, and the R changes. Another good example is the word for teacher. Lehrer. We have two R's in one word. The first R is pronounced because it starts the second syllable. And the second R is not pronounced because it's the last letter of the word. So, Lehrer. And it again just sounds like an A. Okay. Then, the next letter that I need to talk about is the S. our German S is different from the English one because it is very, very soft. It is actually more like a bee buzzing, or as you also hear in the word buzzing, it's z. So that is the German S, a bit like in English Z or TH in some cases. So z. This also changes when the S is the last letter of a word. For example, the word for bus, which in German is Bus, same word mainly. It changes and becomes sharp as in English, so Bus, and you wouldn't say Buzz, because that wouldn't work. So, beginning of a word, beginning of a syllable, soft, and at the end, sharp as in English. Let's give you another example. Actually, let's take my name again, which is Sonja. Not Sonja, as I get called, but Sonja in German, proper correct German. Okay, then the next letter I need to explain is the V. In German it's called V. And also in this case, the pronunciation of the letter itself already tells you that it is quite different from English, because we actually pronounce it mostly as an F. F. For example, Vater, which means father, Vater. Or, you know the car brand Volkswagen, Volkswagen. You probably will have pronounced it wrong all your life, but you have to pronounce this V like an F. And actually, quite curiously, in this case of Volkswagen, no German would ever say Volkswagen. Everyone only says VW. Which also brings us to our next letter, the V, W. Because this is the one we pronounce like you, in English, pronounce your V. So, without exceptions, our W is pronounced V, as in Wasser, Wasser, water, or winter in German is Winter. So it's written in exactly the same way as you can see, but we pronounce the W differently.
Now it comes to my mind about a supermarket name in Germany. The English alphabet is Rewe.
Rewe. Yes. That's a German supermarket. And
German way to speak it is...
Exactly, Rewe. So all the rules apply. The R at the beginning is our guttural R, and then the W pronounced like a V.
Like a V.
Yeah, Rewe.
Rewe. Not
okay.
Rewe.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. That's why these rules are so important, because it will always be like this. There aren't any exceptions. And now whenever you see a word that has a W in it, you know it will always be pronounced V. So that's why I said, once you know all these rules, you can't read anything wrong ever again. So it's quite important. That's why this lecture is also a bit longer, but important. Okay, right. The last letter I need to talk about is the letter Z. This one in German is really, really sharp. It is Z. It's already called Z. So it's really hard. And I'll give you an example. The word for train is Zug. Zug. Or also another word, in combination with a T, it gets even a bit stronger. So, for example, the word for sentence is Satz. So you have T, Z, a very common combination, and just a very, very sharp sound. Also, the word, again, same spelling as in English. In English you have Zoo. In German, Zoo. Okay, so yeah, when people say German is a harsh language, in this case of the Z it is true, although then think of the S and it's not true at all. Okay, that's the normal alphabet. You might already know that there's more to it, and we will cover that in the next lesson, when I will talk to you about letter combinations, which is also very, very important to know. So, I look forward to see you in the next lesson again. and tschüss.